Welcome back to the weekly Education Pulse. I'm Sammy.
And I'm Tony. Each week we bring to you the latest updates shaping the international schools market worldwide.
In today's episode, we'll take you across the globe from Bangladesh and Nigeria to Singapore and the Emirates with stories of teacher training, school expansions, major investments and new policy initiatives.
And we'll wrap things up by looking at some of the emerging markets that could define the next phase of international school growth.
Plenty to cover, so let's dive straight in. And we begin this week in Bangladesh, where OxfordAQA has trained 100 teachers to deliver IGCSE and A-level English.
And this is part of OxfordAQA's commitment to expand internationally, not only by offering qualifications, but also building local teaching capacity.
Exactly. Teacher training is critical for sustainability. By upskilling local educators, international qualifications like the IGCSE and A-level become more accessible and credible in new markets.
For Bangladesh, this is significant. The demand for international pathways is rising, with families looking for recognised qualifications that open doors to global universities.
Training 100 teachers at once is a strong signal. It shows that international awarding bodies see long-term potential in Bangladesh's education sector.
Aligns with a wider trend. Exam boards and school groups aren't just expanding by opening schools, but by investing in teacher development to strengthen entire ecosystems. And from Bangladesh to Dubai now, where Victory Heights has announced it will open a brand new nursery in January 2026.
The new campus will be located in Dubai Production City, expanding the group's footprint beyond its original Dubai Sports City nursery.
And demand for high-quality early learning provision in Dubai remains strong. Families are increasingly looking for nurseries that provide not just childcare, but also a clear pathway into international schooling.
Victory Heights has built a strong reputation for its early years approach, and opening in Production City taps into one of Dubai's fastest growing residential communities.
It also reflects that trend, the wider trend in UAE, established operators expanding within the early years space to meet demand from young families moving into new neighbourhoods.
For parents, it means more choice, and for Victory Heights, it's a way to strengthen its brand presence and build long-term enrollment pipelines into schools. And over to Singapore now, where several international schools have announced major developments.
Yeah, at Tanglin Trust School, the official opening of its Junior Arts Centre is a highlight of the school's centenary year, adding state-of-the-art creative spaces for students.
Meanwhile, Dover Court International School is set to open a new two-storey sixth form centre this academic year, giving senior students more space for independent study and university preparation.
And the Perse School Singapore is broadening its offering with the launch of its senior school, so it's years 7 to 9, from August 2025, cementing its place as an ambitious, growing player in the market.
Take all these together and you see these projects show how Singapore is already mature but competitive international school market that continues to evolve, with schools investing heavily in facilities and differentiation.
And for parents, it means even more variety and depth in a city that's already renowned for the quality of its international schools. And from Singapore to West Africa now, where a new feature highlights some of the top international schools in Abuja, Nigeria.
The article points to schools offering strong academics, extracurricular opportunities, and globally recognized pathways, all while balancing affordability for families.
The market has been growing steadily, driven by both expatriate demand and a rising Nigerian middle class looking for international standards in education.
What's notable is the emphasis on value for money. Parents in Abuja are weighing fees against quality, and schools that deliver strong outcomes without ultra premium pricing are standing out.
Exactly. And it reflects a wider trend across Africa. Demand for international schooling is rising, but affordability and accessibility remain central to growth.
For investors and operators, Abuja is clearly a market to watch, with families eager for choice and schools competing on both quality and cost. And from West Africa to the UAE again, where Taaleem Holdings has raised a massive 968 million dirhams in financing from Emirates Islamic.
That's around 260 million US dollars, split into two key facilities. The majority, Taaleem's acquisition of the Kids First Group, which adding 34 nurseries across the UAE and Qatar, and then a minor amount going to the brand new Harrow branded school in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, it's one of the largest financing deals we've seen in the region's education sector, showing the confidence that banks and investors have in the long-term growth of private education and schooling.
And it reflects a broader trend. Large operators are increasingly tapping into financial markets to fund expansion, acquisition, and premium school launches.
Yeah, for families, this means more capacity and new choices across both nurseries and schools. And for Taaleem, it's another step in cementing its position as one of the UAE's biggest players.
And staying in Dubai, the government has just unveiled a new action plan aimed at reducing education costs for parents.
Yeah, the plan includes incentives like reduced building and land rents for schools that commit to keeping prices reasonable, alongside teacher housing provisions to help schools attract and retain staff.
The initiative also strengthens transparency. The KHDA will assess schools' cost structures to ensure families understand what sits behind the fees they're paying.
And scholarships and more mid-market school models are part of the conversation too. The aim is to ease pressure on household budgets while keeping Dubai attractive for families.
Schools, it means balancing scrutiny with opportunity. Those that can deliver quality education at accessible price points could see strong growth.
Yeah, and for parents, there's a clear sign that affordability is now firmly on the policy agenda, helping to build confidence in the sector's future. And finally, this week, let's look at where the next wave of international school growth might come from.
According to new research from ISC Research, the 5 emerging markets to watch for in 2025 are Kazakhstan, Bulgaria, Romania, Colombia, and Kenya.
Yeah, each of these countries is showing rising demand for international education. Kazakhstan is opening up with supportive regulations, while Bulgaria and Romania are benefiting from EU integration and Schengen membership, boosting mobility and investor confidence.
In Colombia, bilingual education demand is fueling growth, while Kenya's competency-based curriculum reform and urbanization are creating space for international schools in Nairobi and beyond.
Yeah, what ties these markets together is untapped potential. Unlike saturated hubs such as Dubai or Singapore, these regions are still wide open for development.
For operators and investors, it's a reminder that international education is expanding on a global scale, and the next growth stories may well be written in some of these emerging markets. And that brings us to the end of this week's Weekly Education Pulse.
Yeah, thanks for joining us as we covered the latest school openings, investments, and policy changes, plus a look ahead at where international education might grow next.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes.
And once again, we'd love to hear from you. Which of the emerging markets do you think holds the most potential? And what stories are shaping education where you are? Drop a comment below.
We'll be back next week with more news and insights from the international school sector.
Until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.